the community engagement and programming manager of the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship. The Center for Creative Entrepreneurship is an organization that is working on building the framework for the creative economy. And what does that mean? Well, that means that we are looking at 9 different sectors and putting together workshops, putting together boot camps, helping people network, connecting people, looking where there's a need in different aspects of growing your business as a creative, right? So we have music, we have theater, we have dance, culinary, visual arts. There's lots of them. And the one that we're going to be focusing on today, and a partnership that we're really excited about with Free Spirit Media, is film. Free Spirit Media is a fantastic organization that is based here in Chicago that is empowering youth and teaching them lots of skills of how to, make it in the field of film. And that covers everything. So that covers, newscaster to behind the camera, how to market, some of the skills that you need to be in that industry. And so that's what the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship is focusing on. And next year, we're going to be unveiling our e-learning platform, where a lot of these resources that you're going to see today will live. So, you will be able to go on our platform, look for jobs, click on this boot camp and say, how do I build a profitable brand in 2021? What are some of what are some of the things that I need to do for my business to stay relevant, to stay, in front of the things that you want to do. So I'm not going to talk anymore, but I appreciate everyone that's watching. And again, with the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship, I would like to introduce Free Spirit Media. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Daniel.
Thank you, Daniel, for that introduction.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. I am Irel Quintera, and I have my co-pilot here, Kovana Washington. We're going to get started with our bootcamp. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. All right, so the topic of discussion today is how to build a profitable online brand in 2021. And as we know, we are, facing this pandemic. Everyone's in quarantine and things have changed. So the landscape is very, very different. We just want to let you know a little bit about our organization, Free Spirit Media. We are a nonprofit organization. Let me just play the video for you guys.
I just wanted to be around like-minded people that understood my struggle, because I know it won't always be like that. But just to have that foundation was important to me, and that's what I really wanted the most, was that intelligence, that skill set, and to just put myself on the map.
When we were on the Fuzzy Life set, it felt so right knowing that people of color were empowered. Our AD was a woman. Everything just felt like it was a space that was meant for people like me, and it felt like, hey, maybe there's some place in this industry.
The cohort program is the most amazing thing that could happen. It's all for free, and it's all for helping us get to where we want to be. And I appreciate that so much.
All right. And so as you can see, Free Spirit Media is a nonprofit organization, and we have a heavy focus on empowering and training our youth, ages 18 through 25, to build those skills and be workforce ready in the film and media industry. At Free Spirit Media transforms media and society by providing opportunities for emerging creators, primarily from communities of color, to produce and distribute original content and to pursue artistic, personal, and professional aspirations. That is our mission that we are very committed to, and it's been that way for 18 years. A little bit about me. I am Ira Alcantara. I am the Creative Workforce Managing Coordinator. Develop some strategies and implement some programmatic framework for industry pathways. A little bit about my background. I did start out in healthcare, but I've always had a passion for storytelling and film and working with the community. Prior to this, I was also a co-organizer for a G-Thing, Melanin Voices, which is a community agency, creative agency, that highlights the voices of the the groups that are marginalized, and also Black and brown bodies, their stories. So yeah, I have been with Free Spirit Media for about 2 years now. It'll be 2 years in February. I'm very, very happy with the impact that I see with the community that we're building. I'm gonna roll it over to my co-pilot, Kovana Washington.
Hello, everyone. I'm excited to be speaking with you guys about how to create a profitable online brand in 2021. My name is Kovana Washington, and I work as the Creative Workforce Coordinator, assisting with creative workforce development initiatives at Free Spirit Media. I actually got my start right after college. I have my first love is the fashion industry, but of course with that comes an array of different skills that you have to know, such as marketing, such as branding, such as knowing how to build a website, knowing how to merchandise and create budgets. And it was really an opportunity for me to be the creative that I knew I wanted to be. So ultimately that led me here to Free Spirit Media. And my mission at the organization is to not only reach my own professional and personal goals, but to inspire and uplift our participants to get to that next level in their career in the film and media industry. So that's a little bit about me. I know you guys are excited to learn what we have for you. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. We encourage you, if you have notes, definitely take a lot of notes. We're gonna be sharing a lot of information for you. So let's jump right in.
Okay, thanks, Kavanna. That's right, we are very excited, for this workshop. Thank you so much, 2112. 2112, I'm sorry, and CCE. We're just going to go over our agenda, what's ahead until 3. So we're going to talk about creating quality content, social media presence, activity, building a website if you don't have one yet. And then we're just going to go close out with some Q&A. All right. I'm sure everyone's familiar with these famous people. If you are not, of course, that is Issa Rae. We know her from Awkward Black Girl and Insecure. And we have Gary Vaynerchuk, and we know him from Gary V. Motivational videos on marketing and advertising are also available on YouTube and Instagram. He's a big social media influencer, marketer, and awesome businessman. And then we also have Troy, and we have Bilal from Earn Your Leisure. It started off as a podcast. We're going to go over how they built their brand. And Earn Your Leisure started out in 2019, and it has gained such a following on social media. So we're going to talk about creating quality content, and we are going to review it Issa's way. We know Issa as a filmmaker, an editor, and a director. She did start out just creating her own content, building her brand that way. She's known for Awkward Black Girl and Insecure, like I mentioned, and now she is the COO of Color Creative and Issa Rae Presents. We're just going to go over and check out her websites real quick. So in 2007 is when she actually built Issa Rae Presents. And this, we're just gonna jump onto her website and we're just gonna review it. And as you can see, she has built a bunch of content, original content and content from other folks of color, I should say. But it didn't always start out like this. It was very, very basic, and throughout the years, her brand has evolved. And I will show you. In 2009 is when she had another channel. You can see the difference, the graphics. This was more for like blogs, and also it was more for behind the scenes and promotions for the content that she was putting out. We're gonna check out Issa's reel and how she got started, and you can see the reel that she has now with Issa Rae Presents. All right, and as you can see with Issa's reel, she has definitely grown. She has definitely sharpened her skill in videography, directing, and editing. She definitely honed all of that to lead her into Issa Represents. And we are going to go back to see, you know, the content that she has put out there now. It's better production, of course. They're generating revenue because of that. And we're going to talk about her ways of generating revenue as well. So we're just going to check out one video where
your book has been selling extremely well. Oh yeah. No. We always keep a good stack of misadventures of an awkward black girl.
Lamar Park is one of the most special neighborhoods. It is one of the rare blocks in Los Angeles that features Black-owned businesses, and Esalen Books is one of those. Esalen Books was founded by three guys who started a book cart. Hey, James, how you doing?
I'm good, Issa. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Last time I saw you was in, I want to say 2015?
For the book signing, and then you walked by the store when you did the filming.
Right. Since the 90s, it has served as an event space for people to gather, for authors to give talks, and readers to have access to those authors.
We started on weekends, and we just wanted to be able to provide books by Black people, being sold by Black people, by a Black company. And then it just kept growing.
Your store has so many moments connecting Black people, connecting creatives.
I think of Iyanla Vanzant. And when she walked in, it was a packed audience, and she said, "I'm home." And the audience burst out in clapping, and that was a great feeling.
I don't know if you know this, but I was in the process of trying to find a collaborator, a showrunner for Insecure. Right after my book signing, I met my future showrunner, Prentice Penny, and we talked outside the bookstore after the signing for like 20 minutes. And we both grew up in the neighborhood, and of course, shooting Esalen Books in that episode, they should reference was like kind of our homage to like us meeting there.
I didn't know that, and that's incredible.
It means so much that Esalen Books has found a way to stay open, which is so important during a time where we've seen a lot of racial unrest and uprisings. You've seen people actively seek out Esalen to learn more.
You know, we were really scared, how will we survive this? We couldn't let people come in the store. People had to do mail orders, but people rallied to us. George Floyd's death, I think people became aware that this happens, and it's been happening, and people wanted to understand it more. And so for the last 3 months, we have been very, very busy, people buying books that deal with racism and anti-racism. So when we reopened, we had such a huge response and people flooding the store with orders that we had to change the store hours because we got so many online orders, we realized we need more time to work on filling those orders.
Well, I'm happy the community is showing up as they should. One of the biggest fears we have is that we're going to lose a lot of these Black businesses. And so I think it's so important to support them so that they can stay in the neighborhood. They empower so much of our community. They serve as inspiration. You can't be what you can't see. I can't tell you how much it means to me. I live in the neighborhood. You guys are down the street. I can't imagine my childhood, my adulthood, my career without S1 books. So I would love to purchase $5,000 worth of gift cards to donate to local schools and show my appreciation for S1 books.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it. And I think it's so important because a lot of times kids are not exposed to these books.
That's invaluable as a kid, especially when you're in a school system that isn't necessarily providing those books and giving you those materials to read. You have to find them on your own. So your bookstore was just revolutionary in that sense.
That would be tremendous. We'd be honored to be a part of that.
I appreciate every hour I have spent in that store. I thank S1 Books for launching my own writing career, whether it's my first book or my first TV show. S1 Books is a part of my life, and I'm so grateful for it.
And that was just an example of another instance where we can see the differences in production for Issa Rae and Issa Rae Presents. And then in 2014, they did launch Color Creative. And in this way, this is another avenue for Issa to generate revenue. As you can see, Color Creative is also a channel where they feature pilots. They also have contests for writers, opportunities for them, and they also have a pathway for you to support Issa Rae and her work through her Patreon page. So let me just skip through that. And so now we're just gonna go over, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Gary Vee's brand. So Gary Vee is an entrepreneur, he's an author, he's a speaker, social media personality, all of that good stuff. He started out with the Wine Library and branched off to the Gary Vee brand of businesses. So in 2006, Gary Vee birthed the Wine Library channel while working for his father in their liquor store. He found a way to definitely increase their sales by accessing and knowing his audience. He definitely knew that they were individuals that are, they wanted to learn more about wines and people that just wanted to be very, very basic. So he did scratch on something there. I'm just gonna go and show you the very first wine video that Gary Vee created. It is 12 minutes. I'm not gonna play the whole thing. We're just gonna play the beginning to show you this evolution as well of his brand.
Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of Wine Library TV. I am Gary Vaynerchuk, Director of Operations here at Wine Library and winelibrary.com, and I am very proud to launch what we think is the first video wine blog. We've been talking about doing the blog here at Wine Library for a long time. We just realized that we had too much text out there between the website and pounding with 4 or 5 emails a day, as I know we are. It just became something that we thought a blog would just be another layer that you maybe didn't need. Well, as you know, technology doesn't stop, and now we have video blogs, and we feel like we've got something very special here. We think we've got one of the first video blogs in the world, and for wine at least, and we're excited. We're going to take an in-depth look at the wine library, the wine industry, wine in general, and lots of cool things. We're going to keep it very, very laid back. We're going to keep it very silly, fun. We have tons of guests lined up to do interviews. We're going to do tours around the store, let you meet some of the wine library staff, and we're going to tour with the camera. Maybe on my trip to South Africa or something, we'll get some zebras in there too. The video blog is a way for us to really give you some added value, something that we feel can bring you a little bit closer to what we're doing here, give you something that you haven't seen before in the wine industry and really make it exciting. I would tell you that I think about 70 to 80% of our video blogs are going to be based on wines. We want to really give you an in-depth look, something text can't do, on wines that are coming in, wines that we're considering, and even once in a while, you're not going to believe this, but it's true, we're going to do wines that we don't think you should maybe jump on, things that are overpriced, overhyped, something that can really bring value to you, the viewer. I'm very excited about this. I plan on doing this 4 to 5 times a week. We're looking to put the video up about 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so a couple hours after the email every day. And we hope you come and visit. We're gonna have comments underneath the video, and we hope you interact. And hopefully, if you want, we'll have some chat. Maybe a few weeks, we'll have some chat features underneath. And you can just imagine tasting the wines and then saying, "Hey, if you want to come and interact and talk even further about these with me, maybe 10 p.m. Eastern Time." So it's pretty exciting. We've got something special. I really think that this is going to be an integral part of the way people buy wine and everything in the world. We feel that we have the talent to really give you an amazing experience.
All right, I don't know if you caught that. He did definitely initiate, the wine library because he wanted to definitely consider his customers and adding value for his customers. And also he mentioned how often he was going to be posting so that his consumers would know when to keep it, when to be updated, when to follow, when to look out for new videos for his content. And he was consistent in producing content 4 to 5 weeks, 4 to 5 times a day. A week. And so I'm just gonna go ahead and let you know when we move on to this timeline that I just put together. So 3 years after the wine library success, he did branch off to do VaynerMedia in 2009. And then he's always, put out content in 2018. That's when his most popular book, Crushing It, was put out there in the market as the #1 New York Times bestseller. So we're just gonna move on to the next slide. And here's just a timeline of the progress of VaynerMedia. And so in 2009, VaynerMedia was founded by Gary Vee and AJ, his brother. And then in 2015, they received an award by Ad Age's A-list agencies as in 2015 and 2016, they reached $100 million in gross sales and opened first international offices in London. In 2017, they entered the publishing space with VaynerX. And in 2019, they opened their offices in New York, Chattanooga, Los Angeles, and London with 800 staffs. And I know that recently they also have Vayner Sports. So that is also a venture that Gary Vee has been looking into. But as you can see here, he's definitely branched off from the wine library to more of the marketing side. He also does public speaking. So these are the ways that he's generating revenue for himself and his brand of companies. So now we're just going to take a look at pivoting at a glance. We're going to focus on Earn Your Leisure, which is a podcast. And this is Rashad Bilal and Troy Millings. Rashad started off as a pro basketball player, and Troy Millings got his start as an educator. And so the Earn Your Leisure podcast is focused on, it's basically college business class approach with a mix of pop culture. Their target audience are, of course, minorities and minority-owned businesses who they always have guests on their shows. So we're just going to go ahead and check out their website. If you guys aren't familiar to their website or Earn Your Leisure podcast, I strongly encourage you to. They definitely drop a lot of gems for those that want to invest, learn about, securing your finances and financial legacy. They talk a lot about that. And they, as you can see here, they started off with the podcast. They started off actually reviewing sneakers and interviewing celebrities. And they noticed that wasn't really gaining a lot of traction for them. So they noticed that the more popular videos that they were making was when they were talking about finances. So that's the birth of Earn Your Leisure. And as you can see here on their page, they have the about, a little bit about them, an opportunity for you to purchase their merchandise, which is another pathway for you to earn some income with your brand. Then they have the podcast section here, where they are available, and there's always that button to support. So they have their all of their episodes listed here. Just gonna go back. They have their Patreon page as well, which is another way to generate revenue. They do have a very strong and loyal following. They do have an alumni program here where they offer all of their classes. I think I'm just having some trouble with my internet. My apologies. And they just have a contact us page. I don't know why that is not working. My apologies about that. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to just a quick breakout session. Maybe you guys can take some time on your own. As I mentioned, if you take a look at their Earn Your Leisure website, Rashad and Troy started out to review shoes and interview NBA players, and they pivoted into financial literacy in 2019. So it's only been a year, and they have expanded their reach on social media. So you can just take a look and see what contributed to EYL's success and became the source for all things financial. They do have a YouTube page that has garnered, it's I think about 42,000 views in just in one day per post. So they are definitely getting a strong following with their content. So I'm just gonna go ahead and roll it over to my co-pilot, Kavana, to talk more about the social media component of marketing and branding. I think you're still on mute.
That's so funny. Being on mute is like the pop culture word of 2020. Again, I'm Kavana, and this is my favorite component, social media marketing, because it's something that's super, super important. Now, you guys may learn different ways that you can market your brand on different programs and other softwares, but sometimes it can be very overwhelming. Social media as a whole is very overwhelming. So my goal with sharing these tips and these resources with you under the social media component is really to make it easy for you, and also to make it fun for you, right? Because again, like I said, it could be very overwhelming. And especially now, if we're thinking about 2020, it's very important to be on social media, because most people, whether if you're selling a product or if you're a creator or if you have a film and you're trying to market the film, or if you're looking for investors, or if you're a producer, or maybe you're seeking cast for your production on set, using social media to communicate is something that's super important. And in this next slide, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can use social media. So before you begin posting, just like Batman, you want to consider some things before you begin posting, right? Because this setup in the way that I'm going to be sharing these elements with you, this is what you want to do before you get started, right? And you may go through some of these things and say, well, hey, currently I'm in a phase where I don't know what I want to post on social media. I feel like I'm all over the place. Or maybe you feel like you're not consistent, or you just have so many questions going on in your head. But these 4 questions are the main things you want to ask yourself before you begin to post. The first thing is, who is your target audience? Sometimes people are posting, they don't know who they're talking to, you get lost in your own head, and you may always ask, well, I don't know the best caption to post, or I don't know the best photo to post, or I don't know the best time to post, or what to post. Before you get into your head and ask yourself those questions, really ask yourself, who is your target audience? Where are they spending their time? What are some of the things that they're interested in that you have to know in order to create content for them and to share content with them? The other thing you want to know that's very important, you want to be on brand. You want to ask yourself, what are your brand color themes, and do you have a logo? And if you do have those, how are you incorporating those elements into your social media pages, whether it be Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube? We already looked at the Issa Rae's brand, and we saw how over time her brand developed. But when she started, she just got started. And when she did start, she had this level of consistency so that people can understand her messaging, and so that people can understand her marketing and what it is that she's trying to get across. So you want to start to ask yourself, what are those brand color themes, and those, what are your logos? If you don't know anything about brand color schemes, I can recommend that you do research on a color wheel. You can select up to 4 to 5 brand colors. You can have a white or a black, or whatever it is. Determine your brand colors, make a list, and write it down, and stay consistent. The other thing you want to do is you want to utilize content calendars and social media apps and tools. And then the other component is, where can you engage with their audience and build a community? So we're going to jump to the next slide. So I already talked about what is your target audience and who are they. Create these customer profiles. Like, so say, for example, we can take, just to think, we can take, like, let's just say a Netflix, right? So Netflix know that they have different audiences. And when you go into Netflix, you can have like the adult version where you have your adult profile, and then you have a kid profile. Now, what if Netflix only had the adult profile? That means that they're targeting adults, right? And they're not targeting kids. But Netflix is showing, hey, our target audience is everywhere. And what we do is, instead of saying everyone is our target audience, we break them down and we identify their age groups so we can properly market to them, right? Okay, so you want to know who your target audience is, and ask yourself those questions in terms of who they are, what their interest is, and know their age and where they're spending their time. Okay, so now from a filmmaker's perspective, there's 3 types of audiences that you want to know as a filmmaker. The first thing is your core audience. Your core audience are people who are in your community and that are a part of your email list, and people who have a direct line of contact and communications with you. Those people are your core audience, meaning you always are in communication with them. So therefore, it's easier for you to market and to promote what your product and your service is. And then you have your expanded audience. Your expanded audience are people outside of your core audience. They're the influencers who you connect with in your chosen niche, and the people that your influencer friend can reach directly. So let's just imagine you have a film screening, right? So you have your screening, you reach out to your parents, you reach out to your close friends, you reach out to the people on your team, your staff. Those will be your core audience. But then let's just say you reach out to some influential people. So you can have a special guest list or a special celebrity in your industry, and you can invite them to come out to the event. So once they come, they drive more traffic to your event. Like, have you ever been to a film screening or been to an event and there's a star guest? And it appeals you, it attracts you, it brings you in. So you want to identify who's that expanded audience that you're speaking with. Thirdly, we have your secondary audience. Those are people who lie outside of your primary niche. So they may be fellow filmmakers, co-workers, and family. So make a list of who those people are. Or even if you don't make a list, just know that when you're marketing your brand, you have to have different messages to speak to your different audiences. Because when you do, in the end, it's going to help you create that solid and amazing brand that you want to have in 2021. So now the main key is to focus on your core and expanded audience to make money, because that's the bottom line. We're talking about monetizing here. And if you want to monetize, focus on the people who are going to spend the money. And that's the core audience and the expanded audience. And then one thing you want to work on as we're wrapping up the end of the year, going into 2021, you want to build relationships with influencers. Identify who those influencers are in your industry, make a list of them, and start reaching out. You can reach out via direct message on social media, if we're talking about social media. And if those influencers have emails, you can also reach out to them through email. And then from there, begin to build those relationships and start to grow your brand from there. Let's take it to the next slide. Okay. So now we're talking a lot about target audience, because it's just one of those things where it's not easy to say, this is my person, this is my person. You have to literally ask yourself simple questions and gather them all up. So some questions you want to ask is, what's the age of your target? Okay. What's their age and what's their gender? And don't just say, oh, my target is 10 through 60, because I make movies for everyone. A good target audience is a 10-year time gap. So maybe 10 to 20, or 20 to 30, or 30 to 40. Because each of those age groups have different behaviors and interests. So you can have subgroups. So then therefore you can craft messages that speaks to what your target audience is. Now you want to make a list of their interests. Make a list of their interests. If we're talking about film, what other films do they watch? If you're on a streaming platform, what other streaming platforms are they watching? The goal is to know exactly who your customer is and where they're spending their time, so that your brand can show up in front of them. Okay, we already talked about listing out 3 influencers. You also want to know who's your competition, because there's no need to reinvent the wheel if your competition is doing something right. Not to say you want to copy them, but competition in business is a good thing. It's a way for you to know exactly how to market your business. And it's also a way for you to identify, well, what's something that my industry is doing that I can do different, for you to bring more people into your brand. And then you want to list out what services and products can you monetize. Okay, we can move to the next slide. So we even talked about what are some of your brand colors and what are some of those themes. So we look at Netflix. Netflix is known for red. Then they have, black and white. Spotify, green. But then they have that black and white. Then we looked at Lyft. Lyft has this bright fuchsia pink, but then they have black and white. And when you're determining your brand colors, really think about the personality that those colors mean to your brand. We have Netflix, which is red. Red is powerful. So what is it that Netflix is trying to convey? Then we have Spotify, which is green. Why did they select green? Because green means prosperous. Green means money. And then with Netflix, why did they select pink? Pink is active. Pink is feminine, but it's also active as well. So think about the themes of your colors and of your brand and of your logo, and make sure that it makes sense to your personality and to the personality of your audience. And if you need help with creating brand color themes, you can use a free software online known as Canva. Canva is an easy way for you to not only design graphics, but it's also a really cool way for you to build your brand. This is the beginning stage of something that is amazing for your brand. So you can use Canva's color wheel, and you can pick out your colors from, you can do complementary colors, you could do triadic colors, whatever it is you want to do, select your colors on the color wheel. And then if you see on the right-hand side, right underneath the color wheel next to the blue dot, you'll see where they have a color code. Anytime you select your brand colors, you want to have a color code. Therefore, if you work with graphic designers or if you're working with different people around different industries and you need marketing materials, instead of you saying, hey, my brand color is blue, you can say my brand color is blue, hex color code 1EC BE1. So always identify your colors along with your color code to make sure it's consistent across the grid. So when to use social media apps and tools, you can use Calendly. Calendly is something that's very important, especially if you feel like you get busy and you want to stay consistent and you want to, maybe you want to make, schedule meetings and you're doing collaborations. Calendly is an easy way for you to streamline what it is that you're doing because you may get to that point of like, okay, I have to stay consistent. I have to stay on top of things. So let's start with organization by using Calendly as a tool. I'm also going to share some more tools. Okay, we talked briefly about Canva when I explained the branding colors. So with Canva, you can create presentations, you can create videos, you can do Instagram posts, social media posts for Facebook, reports. It's just an all-around great tool, especially if you're new and you want some graphic design help. Okay, so now if you struggle with posting on social media, you can use Later. Later is a resource for you to be able to schedule your content in advance. And in addition to that, when you schedule your content, you want to always check your insights to see how well your content is doing. When you go in to check your insights, you're going to see where it's sharing with you a little bit about your target audience, what if that percentage is women, what if that percentage is men, and you can also see the best times that they're online as well. So always check your insights to make sure that you're on the right track when marketing your brand. Okay, so now we've talked about social media marketing and you have a good handle on it. So now let's go into where you can engage with your audience and how you can build your community. So you can engage with your audience and build your community on other platforms, right? So when we talk about building a brand, it's all about spreading the word and getting out there to as many people as possible. So you can have a podcast to build your community. You can create YouTube videos, have a presence on Facebook, have a presence on Patreon, have a presence on Instagram. And then you can also collaborate and connect with nonprofit organizations such as Free Spirit Media, where we assist young adults between the ages of 18 and 25 with getting into the workforce and building their professional development skills and getting job opportunities. So not only have a presence online, but you want to get out into the community in person when we can or virtually. But again, the goal is to be able to network, to know as many people as you can, because you never know who can help you make that connection to take your career and your brand to the next level. Okay, so now when it comes to social media, it's truly all about your online presence. And I'm going to let Ira take it away from here so that we can talk about some different website options that you can use to build your brand.
Thanks, Kavanna.
You're welcome.
So yeah, we're just going to go ahead and talk about the different resources for you to build a website, just in case you guys weren't aware. There are websites that you can build on the front end, which are for the free. And, at no cost to you, especially if you're starting out. You have Wix, and we're just going to go ahead and check out the selection that they have. It has gotten better. as you can see, these are the templates that you can utilize for your own brand and then customize, according to the brand colors and the themes and the personality, like Kovana said, of your brand. It's very easy to follow. The only thing I would say is that, it's just that you would have to, when you are creating, your www. IamTheArtist.com, it would just end with the Wix. So you'd have to buy, what is that called? It's on the tip of my
domain.
Thank you so much. The domain, probably from a GoDaddy, which is pretty affordable. And as you can see here, in most of these templates, these are the main tabs that you can utilize, and that you'd be able to definitely showcase what your business is about, the services that you provide. They have, of course, their landing page. These are the more common ones right now, where you don't have to go from tab to tab. You can just scroll down and you can see the services, events that you can stay to keep engaged with your community, and then a contact page, which is where they hold all their content from their. This is where you can put your promo videos, your reel. Also, any articles that you're writing, if that is something that your brand, whether it is related to film or not, you definitely should be writing articles to populate to be housed in your website. We're going to explore another resource is Squarespace. And Squarespace is also an awesome resource for anyone who is looking to build a website. Kovana, I know that you're more familiar with Squarespace. Do you want to speak a little more about that?
Yeah, so I have experience with both Wix and Squarespace, and we got asked the question yesterday, which one do we think would be best for a filmmaker? And honestly, it really depends on what your business goals are and how tech savvy you feel like you are. And it's really all about that interfacing. I know with Wix, and when I say interfacing, I mean the back end system of actually building your website. If you want something super in your face, that's very bubbly, that has more of a character, then I would recommend Wix, right? But if you want something that's more minimal, you want something that's more sleek, then I would recommend Squarespace. But then on top of that, Squarespace is very compatible with e-commerce. So they have that e-commerce system in there where it's built in. And let's say, for example, if you're selling online courses or products, then you can easily sell your products on Squarespace. But then there's other options that we don't even have listed in here, such as like Shopify and WordPress. There's so many. And I think Wix is good for that beginner stage. Squarespace is good for that medium stage where you feel like, okay, you've had your portfolio online, but you potentially want to take it to the next level. So I definitely recommend Wix if you're just getting started out, because it's like, I don't know if you guys remember those cell phones for our grandparents, and like everything is extra big because they'll be like, child, how do I do this on this phone? I feel like Wix is that in your face where it's like, you do this, you do that. But Squarespace is like having an iPhone and it's brand new. So that's my way of putting it.
Yeah, it's more user friendly, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely. I know that is one of the impasses when it comes to starting out as well in branding. Creating your brand. It's the website. Like people are always here thinking about they have to spend so much money, but there are resources out there for you to utilize that won't cost you any money, and also won't give you a headache.
Right.
And overwhelm you. That is, you're definitely not going to be overwhelmed by these tools. And so we did actually have Shopify. We do have Shopify, but it is just a very quick rundown on what it is. And this is another pathway for you to generate revenue. As you've seen an example with Earn Your Leisure, they had merchandise for their followers to purchase. You can put those merchandise up on Shopify. And you can definitely attach that with your, and link that with your webpage, whether it's on Wix or on Squarespace. All right, so we're just going to continue on with our breakout session. We're just going to, in your own time, you can definitely check out the resources that we provided to you, and try to follow the template that is there on Wix or Squarespace, and they would most likely be, if you're starting out to make a website, just think about your homepage, a place to house your content, which is your portfolio, to show the types of services that you provide, whether if you are doing wedding photography, or if you're doing high fashion, or you're also doing demo reels, or promos for local community partners. Definitely should put that in your portfolio tab. The services as well, whether you do like Issa Rae, when she started out, she did everything, and this is why it's important to just definitely, be like a MacGyver of your craft. She did videography, editing, she did directing. Those are the things to provide in services. And then about page, of course, whenever we are searching for a content creator or a director, we definitely want to know a little bit about them. I think you should definitely incorporate some personality in that about page. Nothing too stoic, we definitely, consumers are looking for someone that they can relate to. So that is definitely should be included. And then of course the contact us page. I would say we do notice that most of our participants from our own workshops, they do start out with a contact us. An email is perfectly fine, but if you want to be truly accessible, definitely start with a Facebook page, an Instagram page, and also get a Google number if you don't want to give out, your actual number to your customers. Is there anything else that I missed, Kovana, that you would like to add?
Nope, I think that was right on point. But one thing I do like to add, because you mentioned Issa Rae, and while you guys are working on these work blocks and these things that we're teaching you guys, one thing about Issa Rae is she just got started. And you can tell in the beginning she did it for herself. And I feel like with marketing, it's moved with social media. It's moved from a self thing into a people thing, where some people are afraid to be authentic. They're afraid to just be themselves because they're thinking about what the next person will think about them, or they're comparing themselves to the next content creator, and we're saying, well, hey, I don't have the perfect camera, I don't have the perfect life, my life is not exciting where I'm doing this and I'm doing that, so I don't have a lot of content to share. But you do have content to share. You are just as good as the person who's been doing it for 20 years. You just have to get started. And frankly enough, the way content creation is going is like, the more authentic you are in everything you do, whether if it's from social media or your website, is mind blowing. I was just saw the TikTok video of the guy who was drinking the cranberry juice on his way to work, and it was a 15-second video. And now from that one video, he is no longer living in his trailer. He just bought a new home, cash, money. He's sponsored by Ocean Spray now, and he met Snoop Dogg, and they're like BFFs now. And on top of that, he got awarded with over like $300,000 just for doing a 15-second video. So I just want to encourage you guys who are tuning in to don't be afraid to be yourself, because truly being yourself is going to help you take your brand to the next level all around the board. So that's what I wanted to add to that.
Beautifully said, Tawana. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I do want to say that, we are living through this pandemic as artists, but it definitely shouldn't limit us from collaborating, and we definitely have to think outside the box. We are all trying to, survive in this pandemic, of course, financially and mentally. So take this opportunity to reach out to individuals who you think you wouldn't be able to otherwise. I would say pre-COVID. Maybe they're on the West Coast or the East Coast. You can definitely start, there are classes that you wanted to always start with, a particular individual or creative. You can definitely, have some courage and just approach them. And like Kovana said, be authentic, and that's, people can definitely read that and be true to yourself. And at the same time, always stay focused on the goals that you have set for your brand. It is very easy sometimes to do one thing and do a bunch of other things, as you can see with Gary Vee. He does say that, out of the probably 37 businesses that he has started, 75% of them has not been successful because he can only focus on a handful, So, but it's the part that he learned from is taking those risks. And this is, a journey. It is definitely not like an overnight thing. So there will be trial and error that you will have to definitely learn from. So, definitely play around with things that you're capable of. You have ideas, definitely write them down. Try it out. Do a trial run, do maybe like a short-term goal for yourself when you're creating a revenue path for yourself, whether it is classes, online classes, start out with a small group. Maybe you can say like, okay, for, in the first quarter of 2021, I'm going to have one class specifically, whether it's, filmmaking or screenwriting, and I would like to book about 10 people and host it virtually. So that is, a very achievable goal for you. And then, you can move on to the next goal, second quarter of 2021. I'd like to be able to create a writer's room with, a minimum of 8 people. And then you can surely gather from your network and start from there. And then think about how to monetize, the content that you guys are going to create in that writer's room. And you can start from there. All right, and here are our list, excuse me, the Filipino coming out. Here are our list of resources that we'd like to provide for you guys, and this will be available after this recording through CCE's platform. And as far as merchandise, like we said, here are some merchants that can print logos on t-shirts or sweatshirts. Just click on one of them. Here are custom t-shirts from Culture Studio, and look at their website. It's very simple. You basically know the services that they have, the turnaround time, the products that they have, and there's a pop-up. So you can be a part of their email list with a promo for 10% on your first online order. So that is one of the merchants that you can utilize if you are thinking about selling merchandise through your website for your brand. And then there's also, oops, let me just go back. There's also, if you ever need, I think this is also a struggle for most entrepreneurs, is pricing your services. We often, starting out, we often kind of lowball ourselves and our abilities. But you have to definitely think about, your value, and we're all working full time, and some of us are probably doing our dream jobs, after 5 o'clock. So think about, how much you're getting paid at work now, plus the hours that you're spending with your pricing. But this is just another resource for, pricing your services. As soon as my internet comes through, probably have to close some of these tabs. Oh, Comcast.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just an article. The ink is down, of course. I do notice that there is a lag on FB Live, so please excuse the lag to those that are viewing. But I'll just run through that The pricing services is an article on Inc.com that will help you. And they also have some hyperlink resources on there. There's also the SVA. There are a lot of local offices. You just can call them up if you need help and mentorship on business plans. They have retired executive directors, CEOs, COOs who are willing to help you. They can schedule appointments to make business plans. And also if you have any questions and need any guidance on the next steps of your business. Like Kavana said, there's also graphic design resources such as a logo animator and Canva. Canva is awesome because it is all, user friendly and it's all on the front end. And also Filmmaker Freedom and Filmmaker Freeze are as another resource. So these are just to keep in mind the types of audiences that drive indie film revenue. It's a really, really good article. If you don't want to read the article, you can definitely listen to the podcast. So those are resources. And if you have any questions, we're definitely here to answer any of those questions you guys might have. Or you can send us an email. My email is ira@freespiritmedia.org.
And you can also email me at kovana@freespiritmedia.org, or you can email our general email, which is pathways@freespiritmedia.org. So we really hope you guys enjoyed all of this information. Again, marketing is something that you have to start with and figure out what works for you. And just stay encouraged to be motivated. And one last note that I can give you is I had the opportunity to ask Dina Sims, who's the president of Ciroc, a question about marketing when I went to this really big workshop, pre-COVID though. And I asked her, what does it really take to really market a brand? And she said that you have to tap into your childlike mind, because if you can imagine when you were a kid, you will come up with a lot of different creative ways to do things. And you don't have the fear, you don't have the limiting belief over your head. So when you're trying to market your brand right now, really think like, what would I do if I was a 10-year-old? What way can I really get creative? One challenge I can even give you is right now, Gen Zers are taking over the world. We see it with TikTok, and we see how they're just being themselves and they're going viral and they're becoming influencers. That's the way of the world that we're living in. And the people who are going to win on social media and with marketing are the ones that are going to be very creative with stepping out of the box. And I really believe that the people who learned from Ira and I today have learned some information that can really take you to the next level. Especially in 2021. And remember, the game is to monetize, to grow. So you want to plan everything, you want to post everything, and you want to grow everything. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this boot camp. And we will see you guys the next time.
That was fantastic. I just want to thank you both, Kavana and Ira, for putting this together. A couple of things that I think I got from this. I mean, there was many things I got from this. But one thing that's really important for creative entrepreneurs that you showed was the evolution, right? So all of these people who are successful now, when you went back and you showed their original videos, the quality wasn't the best. Maybe it just, the setup wasn't great, but they grew it, right? So I think for people, who are creating, if your first work isn't where you want to be, that's fine, right? It's a matter of like, get it out there and get better, right? And that's the thing that, the Center for Creative Entrepreneurship, that Free Spirit Media is trying to help people do, right? So like, you want to put some content out there. Here's a starting point, but here are some of the tips. Again, we want to thank Free Spirit Media, Kavana and Ira, for putting this boot camp together. Check us out at ccglobal.org. And is it freespiritmedia.org? Is that the website?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So check both websites out. And we hope everyone has a wonderful holiday. Stay safe. Enjoy yourself. Keep creating. Ask questions. Find mentors. Make money. Grow, grow, grow. Have a wonderful day, everyone. All right. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Someone make a shirt that says "Make money, grow, grow, grow."
Daniel, you can do it. I mean, 2021.
I got it.
That would be the shirt for 2021.